YouTube, what the crap's going on? Heir of Azazel here, and I'm going to be bringing you some spicy and seductive action on the Black Ark today. This one is going to be a 2v2 Domination battle, and it's going to be myself playing as Azazel, my teammate is Skaven, then on the other side we've got the High Elves and the Tomb Kings. So a nice 2v2 Domination. Now I need to get more familiar with Domination, it's quite fun. There's 3 capture points. You gain victory points by owning them. You can call in reinforcements with the supplies that you get here. So yeah, you kind of have to put together a strategy. The strategy here for my team is pretty basic. Rush forward, push hard, because the 2 factions we're playing against are going to rely on ranged units, and we're hoping that if we can get some good value early, we can basically shut down their ability to be able to continue the battle. As far as the bottom capture point 3 here, I've got some Seekers, some warriors, there's some clan rats supporting me, and basically this is going to scare off the silver helms and the skeleton warriors, because between the Seekers, Azazel, the warriors, we've got a nice setup there. Now up top, there's some screaming skull catapults across from us. The High Elves have rocked an arcane phoenix, which is pretty good for blob busting, and then the Frostheart phoenix has a brutal debuff capability with the frostbite attacks there, so it's something to keep an eye on. It's a very nice debuff. There's an Archmage of Life. I like this pick. You don't really have to have an expensive Lord in Domination. Healing really undercuts value for the other team, and so bringing the heals I think is a pretty good pick. There's a lot of Spearmen, a few Rangers, and then there's going to be some Scorpions to help with crowd control and give a little terror. Scorpions are going to be extremely effective against Skaven, so I think that's a solid pick by the Tomb Kings. Screaming Skull Catapults can cause quite a lot of damage. You can already see some Horsemen back there as well. I've got some heavy cavalry of my own. We decided to go ahead and push forward. Now, the risk-reward of this scenario as we push forward is if we get up here and get some really nice kills quickly, then we should be able to push our opponents back into spawn, take these and start gaining a ton of points, and basically try and set ourselves up for a win by pushing and being very dominant from the beginning. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how to get the little screen up here. I may need to go in and mod the preferences script or something, but it doesn't show you the value or anything going on up here, which is, like I said, unfortunate. I'll have to go see if I can mod that in or something, because it would make these make them make a lot more sense. So right now it's all about value trading. We need to value trade well, and my Celestial Marauders are going to do pretty good against spear units. The Skaven rats are going to be a little squishy, but they're going to be good support. Thrott's right up there. He summoned his ogres. We've got the bottom point captured, we've got point 2 captured, so we've got 2 captures. However, we don't have enough weight to capture point 1, which is unfortunate. However, I do have the Mirror Guard and other units, so we are definitely owning the melee at the moment. But you can see that it's not super clean at the moment, too. And we still got to deal with these Scorpions and the Arcane Phoenix, so I can't really maneuver back into those catapults and pick up some easy value. They're too well guarded, and there's too much mobility, so it's not an ideal situation. Here, some Devoted Marauders are going to have to just come in and try and hold the gap. My first Devoted Marauder loses its way here. So again, not ideal. I was trying to put the extra capture weight in here with the Mirror Guard, because we really need to put some capture points on 1 if we really want to make this early effort worth it. However, right now it's not even budging, so it's just not going to happen. I'm bringing in Azazel. I was going to do some back smacks here and try and route these units out, get them out quicker. Some more lightning from the Skaven. And my horsemen over here, I wish these would have been just the standard horsemen, because they would have been a little bit better in a longer melee, but they got a bonus versus large put on them by Throt, which was very nice support, and so they are actually kind of tough to kill at the moment. But there's going to be a lot of units coming in, and they're going to spend a ton of time and effort over there, but that is an expensive unit and potentially valuable for them. Now, the Elves are going to put some pressure on capture point 2 here, which is a smart move. They want to get the pressure off of them up front, and right now they're still spawning some units in down here, but they don't have what they're going to need to challenge point 3, so we're off to a nice lead. But the value trades aren't great so far for us. It's just kind of so-so. In fact, I think if anything, we were probably just a little bit behind on value. And so that means that if we don't get up here and get some pretty significant breakthrough and some significant damage quickly, then it's going to leave us in the awkward position of us having to run reinforcements all the way across the map, and our opponents being able to summon reinforcements very quickly and easily. I did get into their backlines here. I took Azazel into a catapult. I've got the Seekers here, but I mean, there's Nehekara Horsemen. There's Fireborn coming in. Like, it is getting very difficult for us to maneuver into their backlines and try and pin them in the spawn. because the unit picks coming in from the Elves and the Tomb Kings are really creating difficulty for us at the moment. They have a lot of missiles. I don't have a way to get to their missiles, and these missiles are slowly building up value. Slowly but surely putting in the value. Now, the Mirror Guard gets caught alone back here. Fortunately for me, they are very tough. They're immune to psychology. It's going to be very difficult for the High Elves to get rid of them. There's still a few devoted Marauders here as well. Azazel is still in the vicinity, though he's not down on the ground at the moment. We prevented the capture of point 2. There's a Hell Pit Abomination now on the field for us. And point 3 is firmly in our control, but we can't ignore it, obviously. But again, you can see now our reinforcements are having to come in from across the map. So it's a much farther run here. So like I got more devoted Marauders. We have to come all the way across the map to support, whereas their troops are coming right out of spawn and are going to be right on top of us. Nice Warp Lightning by my Skaven ally here, but I mean, again, this is a less than ideal situation for us. We're just not getting enough push to capture point 1. And honestly, what we should probably do is just fall back in full force and begin protecting point 2 and 3. But instead, we kind of keep pushing up into them here. And again, it could work if we can keep them pinned far enough back for long enough that they're not able to really get a capture in time to switch things. I did manage to get the Phoenixes pinned down here on the ground with the Demonettes, and they are ripping through the armor of these Phoenixes, and they've got Azazel in here to help. He's using his Acquiescence. I've got the whip and stuff on him as well, just so he can cast a lot of spells. Unfortunately, the Arcane Phoenix gets its heal. This one, the Frostheart Phoenix, has not at this point, so that's good. My Seekers got a little bit chewed up by that Skaven magic there. Or no, that was a Dwellers. Sorry, it was a Dwellers. So that was a nice done. Well done. Look at my Chaos Knights still kicking over here. They've managed to really hold up the enemy for a very long time. Throt's helping with it, but he's got to be careful because got some Skeleton Horsemen there. And like I said, the Mirror Guard doing exceptionally well here, all things considered. There was some Silver Helms I was trying to chew into with the Heart Seekers, and I managed to get a pretty good bunch of damage done on them. We're still going after that Arcane Phoenix. Azazel is pretty healthy. I don't have a good way, unfortunately, to stop Cetra on his cat. I'm just not well equipped for that. Azazel is not anti-large like Valkia would be. Valkia would be pretty darn well equipped for this. Here comes the Fireborn pushing us as well, so it's getting dicey. So we lost a lot of units, and suddenly the enemy may have enough to push into point 2, and they've got a push coming into point 3 now as well, which wasn't super significant, but it's a problem now because these Skeleton Chariots are here, so I'm having to send reinforcements. So what started off as a really solid, good lead here is getting threatened at the moment. The Hell Pit Abomination got overextended and really got chewed up here by the Chosen of the Gods and the Skeleton Horse Archers, and they pick up a huge value here. That is definitely not what we need. Fortunately for me, the Mirror Guard continues to provide amazing value and just sit here and eat up Tomb Guard and other units and at least keep some of their units busy over here. But like I said, now we are low on forces and kind of, we're getting outnumbered locally here. See, Throt is getting outnumbered here. I'm going to bring in the Heart Seekers to try and help out. They'll do some damage, but there's just not enough of them to turn this fight. And Throt is in some pretty rough shape here, so this is not ideal. So we're definitely starting to lose at this point in terms of the value, and we just lost point 3 down here as well, so this is very, very bad for us, though there's some more Skaven coming in to help. I do have reinforcements here, but a nice intercept by these Silver Helms just delayed these warriors and are creating problems for us. So we don't have enough units to push into point 1. We've lost point 3, at least temporarily, maybe permanently, so things are starting to turn around, unfortunately, against my team, so we're going to have to try and make some miracles here. We're going to need to make some good plays. These Demonettes have gotten some really nice value. They're peeling away at some Ushabti. It doesn't look like a ton of kills for them, but they've gotten a ton of damage done on the Phoenix units, so you can see that they do have some very nice value. And I think I was, if I remember right, in the battle at this point, I was keeping pace on value with the enemy. The Skaven was a little behind on value, but he's made some nice plays in assisting me, like holding this capture point down here, throwing the Rat Ogres in. And so value's not always the entire story. So he's definitely been giving me some good support. But Throt got KO'd there a second ago, and now again, I have no way to challenge these missile units, and so they're going to sit back here, and they're going to be able to just start throwing some value. Look at these Seekers just ripping through Silver Helms. They're armor piercing, but there is support on the way. Unfortunately, that's not what I want. My Exalted Demonettes hopefully are going to throw a little bit of damage here against these armored enemies. I've got Devoted Marauders. I've got some Warriors of Slaanesh moving up. Fortunately, those catapults not getting... Ooh, that one was actually a really good hit. Never mind. I've got another Seeker that I was hoping to maybe get up into this flank with, but you can see that they're keeping units back here just enough to be annoying and make it difficult for me to get any quick wins against their missiles and turn the tide in terms of value. I had to retreat from those spears a little. I need to countercharge back over here, but I don't quite get it done. My Seekers are certainly capable of causing some good damage, but they didn't get a nice charge. Comes a nice whip here from Azazel, just trying to get, again, little bits of value here and there as best we can. I'm going to support the Seekers, try and give them a chance to cycle charge, which is what I was aiming for here, but Azazel can't hold all those units necessarily. I'm trying, but it's not quite working. Just trying to get kind of a counter charge. Now we're going to recapture point 3, so this is good, which means that this battle is going to be very close at this point. We've got a slight edge right now, but look, there's archers moving up. There's more skeleton chariots turned around. We do have this Morkester's Hellion, which is helping us a lot. But we did lose our rat ogres down here, so potentially we're about to be challenged. And again, without an answer to those archers, we're not able to quickly get in here and get value. Here comes yet another archer over here. We needed a unit to get around these guys right now while they don't have any defense for those archers. But unfortunately, our units were committed elsewhere. So we're still holding point 2. We're gaining lead again. So we're going to hopefully build our lead. I believe it's 1,500 victory tickets that it puts you all the way up. Cetra is just crapping on us, and there's very little that we can do about him right now. I was able to get some decent damage done over here with Azazel. Unfortunately, the Arcane Phoenix got away from him, though. But he's getting some nice kills on that cavalry. The Morkester's Hellion decides to push out against the archers and keep them busy, or at least delay them. These Chaos Warriors here are a very tough unit, and that's good for us because we're going to need it up against all these chariots and other things, so we need a very tough unit, but we're starting to get outweighed, and we're going to lose capture weight here. The Skaven unit, I actually need them back here in the box with me to try and help prevent the capture, and the Morkester's Hellion just ends up getting torn up by archers because it got overextended. And even if I did have cavalry, now there's Carrion, which I do now have cavalry, but the Carrion came in just in time to make it difficult for me to try and get a punch. And then again, we're being pushed back here because I just don't have an answer to Cetra. And you can see now we're losing capture weight on point 2. So we're about to get hit by a triple cap here, unfortunately, off of our opponents. So what started off as us pushing them has now totally flipped script, and we're headed back the other direction. So we're going to put together a bit of a push here to see if we can try and hang on to point 3. We need anything we can get. So I'm going to push my Hellstriders through here, but they see this coming, and they're going to summon Illyrian Reavers, which is going to be just enough to keep me from being terribly effective against these archers. The Seekers could get those, but again, look at the summons just flying out down here. Nehekara Horsemen, they see what we're doing, and they know that time is no longer our ally. And so as they throw in these cheap Skeleton Warriors, Nehekara Horsemen, Illyrian Reavers, just all this weight of units down here can potentially get a nice value trade at the moment. My Hellstrider's going to get in here and start really laying the hurt on these archers, but there is reinforcements coming. I'm going to push forward and try and pin down these Nehekara Warriors, but again, now look, another Reaver coming in, so we're just really struggling. We're going to hold on to point 3 for now, which will help us stay on the board in terms of points, but with the loss of point 2 and no real way to turn this around, look at, it's just Azazel now out here taking the beatings all by himself. The Phoenix is back. So the High Elves have managed to get enough funds put together to bring out a fresh Frostheart Phoenix, and so it's pretty much over for my teammate and I. We don't really have a way to hold. We're just starting to get buried by value, and we can't keep up now. So it's interesting, like I said, these matches, the way that they swing. Now we are going to just fight to the end, right? We're not going to give up. We're going to keep fighting and try and make it absolutely as close as we can. You never know when something will turn around, but like I said, at the moment, we're struggling to get any value. I'm just trying to run away with Azazel because he's screwed. All we can do is just throw units one at a time, unfortunately, into point 2. And now there's enough significant power here that it's going to be, like I said, difficult to turn that around. We are still managing to hold on point 3, but the tide is turning against us here. The Skeleton Warriors inbound. Those archers are now free again. The Carrion is here. Another Spearman spawned back in the distance. This Warlock Engineer, I believe, has the Warp. Does he have the Warpar? I don't know if he has the Doom Rockets. Yeah, he's got the warp armor, so he's a bit of a Mortis engine right now, which is certainly helpful, because these units are blob. But again, like these Seekers, Slaanesh, tough units, they can do a lot of damage, and they are doing a lot of damage, but there's not enough, right? We're getting overwhelmed. There's no infantry here to support. Azazel's running for his dear life, for whatever it's worth, and my Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh with Hell Scourges are the only thing, along with these Death Runners up here, holding the line on our initial capture point. And though these units look cool and they make Slaanesh happy by whipping things, they don't even get the benefit of these skeletons having their flesh flayed by the Hell Scourges because they don't have any flesh. So I don't know, unless Slaanesh has a bone fetish going today, which I'm sure they do. They probably embrace all of said fetishes. But in any case, we got the pit fighters coming in, so a nice Rat Ogre unit here to throw some waiter out. We need that really bad. But again, no love up there, and then 0.3 just fell to our enemies, so we are now triple capped. We got stuck at 1224, and we're not likely to be able to turn it around, so our opponents are going to be able to pull out a well-fought victory here, and well done. So that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward. There's obviously no turning around this triple cap in time, because we would basically have to have a triple cap ourselves, and it's just too late for said thing. So a close battle. We got out there, we got initial work done, we got that initial lead, but we didn't get the value we needed to hold on to it. And so you can see in the long game there, the skirmishing units made the difference. They weren't great early for the Elves and for the Tomb Kings, but they did pay big dividends late. Azazel did okay, not amazing for his price, but I think he kind of paid for himself. These Chaos Knights with Lances held out a long time. They didn't get a ton of value. I mean, they at least held back our enemies, which got us as many points as it did. However, I didn't end up getting to use them for something super valuable, like cleaning off whole units of archers or cleaning off whole units of catapults or something like that. Good value out of my Seekers here, though. They did well. The Mirror Guard fought extraordinarily well, and again, bought us enough time that we had a chance here. Didn't end up working, but like I said, at least they gave us a chance. And then when we take a look at the Heart Seekers, they did get a ton of value. They cleaned up some cavalry. They hit some other expensive units. The Heart Seekers were a good unit for me. But, not enough. And then the Demonettes also, the Exalted Demonettes just did tremendously well. They did tons of damage to the Phoenix units. Got in and killed a good bit of infantry, did a little bit of damage to Cetra. Obviously not enough to kill him. Hell Scourges, again, held for a long time, but I needed more than that. Just didn't work out. So I did end up getting decent value on a fair number of my units, but it wasn't enough. Go take a look at Throt. He got 1378. He also had some summons and stuff were that important that it's not going to throw into here, so his value is probably actually a little higher. Pretty good value with the Warlock Engineer, though, here with that Skaven Warp Lightning. He did a ton of damage. Not a ton of gold value, but he was obviously clearing out a lot of skeletons and other units. And if we take a look at some of these other units here, a lot of kills on the Death Runners, but not a ton of value there. Take a look at Clan Molder's reinforcements. The Hell Pit Abomination just got overextended, unfortunately. Or else it probably could have helped us a lot with Cetra. Like I said, I think we should have just fallen back at some point and just started guarding point 2. Could they shoot us? Yes, they could shoot us. But if we start guarding point 2 and make it very slow and painful for them to take it, maybe we have enough time to pull this one off. We would have eventually had to find an answer to some of those skirmishers that we just didn't have. So a Warp Lightning Cannon could have been pretty useful here potentially too. Though with all the flyers and stuff going around, we would have had to keep a close eye on it, because I like the pick with the Carrion and the Phoenixes, because it also gives the High Elves an opportunity to come after Skaven artillery and skirmishers as well. Flyers are just a really good pick for that, and it makes me wish that maybe I had a couple of Furies, because the Furies could have bypassed all the stuff on the ground and just swooped straight in on the target that we needed to disrupt. So not bringing Furies may have been a big mistake for me. Nice work from the Life Mage here. Very good work from the Arcane Phoenix, and pretty solid work here from the Frostheart Phoenix. A lot of kills on these Silver Helms. Pretty decent value, all things considered as well. Very nice work by these Illyrian Reavers, because those are cheap. And when you're getting that kind of value at that price point, it's never a bad thing. So, yeah. And then Cetra the Imperishable also doing pretty well here. Again, not a ton of value, but he was still very much alive. He was very imperishable in that fight, which ended up making a huge difference. Nothing amazing off the catapults, but, they were a pain that we never did get to answer. Tons of cheap units and chaff here for the Tomb Kings, just making life very difficult for us. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all soon with some more action in Total War Warhammer 3.